Good morning, Cubs. This is Mama Bear again. I just wanted to expound a little bit this morning. You see, I've been frustrated with the English language ever since I was a cub. This frustration rose again when I was making cinnamon rolls the other day. You see, I always remember, I always am mindful. When I make cinnamon rolls, I'm mindful of the dough. You see, you cannot be too rough with the dough or the cinnamon rolls will get too tough. But if you pause with me like I did that day when I was remembering how to make them right and made them tender as usual, when you think of these words dough, rough, and tough, they all have three different sounds. They have the same ending though, O-U-G-H, but they all sound very differently. So who gets to decide these things? So I, being a smart mama bear like I am, began to look a little bit into the history of the English language because in the moment I just felt like I was caught up in some kind of psychological warfare where English has just absolutely done some trickery to try to trip me up. And so I thought there's just got to be some logic as to the why, right? So I did a little reading on how we came up with English words and spelling, and basically it came down to this revelation that they noted that English has been frozen in time. They noted that it was formed from Germanic, Latin, French or Old French, Norse, Greek, and some Celtic roots. Yep, that's the word they use. So I basically looked at it as perhaps like the roots of a tree, and they basically had formulated so solid in the ground, that was their excuse, that the spelling couldn't change. But then when you think about it, they also noted that even though the spelling couldn't change, the pronunciation could, depending on what region of the country or the world you lived in, and perhaps the vibes of the people at the moment. I don't know. But they had some excuse about spelling staying the same because it's frozen and pronunciation changing from region or through decades. And that might explain, I thought, why England and the USA have a different pronunciation of herbs. Like in England, they call them the man's name Herb. So I have herbs in my kitchen and they have herbs in their kitchen. That's just too many men for me. I mean, one man in the kitchen is enough. But listen, I'm segueing. I'm not sold on this explanation of lock spelling, you see, because I started pondering different words. Like, I also noted that in England, they spell the word color, C-O-L-O-U-R, and we spell the word color, C-O-L-O-R. Then they spell the word theater, T-H-E-A-T-R-A, or E, excuse me, and we spell it T-H-E-A-T-E-R. And then there's the word center. In England, it's C-E-N-T-R-E, and here we turn the last two letters around correctly, C-E-N-T-E-R. Not trying to insult my English buddies and friends, but that's how I remember it, to put it in the correct position. And then there's the word gray. I always struggle with that. It's a G-R-E-Y or G-R-A-Y. Apparently kind of both are acceptable, but you have to stay consistent in your writing. But I'm assuming England does the E and we do the A. And then there's the word check. In England, it's C-H-E-Q-U-E, and here C-H-E-C-K. So it sounds like we're pronouncing them the same, but the spelling changed, this supposedly frozen spelling in time. And then we look at the King James Bible, the old original King James Bible. Do you see how many E's they throw in there? I mean, just think of the word old. In the original King James was O-L-D-E, and the word itself had an E at the end. So as I say it, we didn't just pronounce things differently over time. over time, we straight up changed letters, dropped letters, and walked away confidently. I mean, my argument against the English language being frozen is quite legitimate by looking into the historic history of even the word hiccup. Like, look here, I wrote it all down for you guys because my spelling is atrocious. Atrocious. Yes, that's the word. So if we look at the word hiccup in the 1500s, this little sound we make in our system, this is how they spelled it. And then it became hicket, and then hickok, and then hiccup. And then from about 1849 to 1950, it was hickoff. And it actually had gone to hiccup before then. But apparently for 100 years, people decided it was more like a mini cough. And then, no, it's really not. So we've gone back to the hiccup. But apparently the dictionary will accept either one of these now. But see, we can make arguments on these words, obviously, and they can change. They aren't literally frozen. So I'm not quite getting this frozen argument myself. So then whoever says frozen needs to just take a fresh look at the evidence. There's been some clear thawing out and recalibrating in our English language, in our English words. Which brings me to this. I wanted to just spend some moment, I'm sorry, I get this habit from my cousin Pooh, but I just wanted to spend the moment expounding this important revelation about myself. I want to let you know, if I'm going to ongoingly be taped by Papa Bear, that I'm going to just simply spell things correctly and pronounce them phonetically as much as it makes sense to me. Yeah, I want to just if it looks a certain way on paper, then it needs to be pronounced that way. Think with me about the words, again. Okay. Think with me about the words kernel and mnemonic. I can't even pronounce it right. Mnemonic. I am told by historians and linguists that the N in mnemonic is silent. So that's why I am trying to pronounce it mnemonic, even though for years I pronounced it mnemonic. But as I'm trying to read and understand their text, it's actually the N I shouldn't be saying. But one way or the other, I am comforted today that even some of the most educated speakers occasionally spell those words wrong. Did you know kernel has no R in it? Not when you're talking about a colonel like Colonel George or Colonel Mary, but someone in the Army. That word colonel has no R. So why, when you look at the spelling, if there's no R, why are we putting an R in there? It's those type of things trip me up. So I just wanted to reveal, as I got up this morning, this information to you, Cubs. I say this so that you can understand that occasionally Mama Bear is going to actually move toward saying things phonetically, spelling things phonetically. It's kind of just who I am. And this has all got very long, and I'm so sorry about this, because I know it's winter, and there's extreme hibernation that needs to be happening at this point of the season. And I'm just getting quite fatigued with all of this. So I will see you again. Good night, Cubs.